Welcome to Namaste with Renee, an award-winning podcast for entrepreneurs and personal reality creators. I'm your host, Renee Marcou, CEO of Marcou & Company, founder of the iHeart Coaching Academy, and professional singer-songwriter. I show women how to soar into financial and spiritual riches by turning their remedy into revenue. Hear from world-renowned guest experts on Namaste with Renee. Welcome, everybody, to Namaste with Renee. I'm your host, Renee Marcou, and today I'm going to introduce you to an amazing woman. She is a self-love and spiritual teacher. Her name is Vanessa Marie Dewsbury. You've probably seen her online. She's doing a lot of big things already in her career, and I'm just so honored that she's sharing this episode with me. So welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. I know that you and I met, at least 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And we were up in Canada, right?
Yeah.
And we did a photo shoot, and it was so amazing. And then after all this time, we've still been so connected. I really resonate with your work and how you serve your community. And it's just been so nice to just even be a witness to you flourishing.
It's and the same with you watching your journey. But I remember meeting then, like we were on the beach and it's all sunny and warm and just feeling this like deep soul connection with you. And we didn't even know I was doing photography, but I don't even think I was doing any of this kind of work at that point. Uh,
Right.
but there was just something there that's like, you know, when you meet somebody and they feel like home, your soul just
Yeah.
feels safe and at ease. Like that's how I felt with you.
Aw,
So like
thank
10
you.
years later, we're still part of each other's journey, which I love and grateful for.
Me too. And thank you for saying that. I really do have that sense with you. Even catching up with you over the years, just like hearing your voice just soothes me too. And I just really feel so grounded. So it's
Thank
so
you.
nice to still be connected after all this time. And I just love what you do. So if you're willing to share with all the
Yeah.
listeners, will you share what's been in your wheelhouse lately, how you're showing up for your clients?
Well, I do teach a lot of self-love, and I think we hear that word a lot, but we know we don't really go deep into like what that actually means or how to go about it. Um, but I find like helping a lot of clients and for my Reiki practice as well, that the underlying core that is usually missing is self-love. And perhaps we didn't get that emotional connection from maybe our parents, one of them or either or both.
Mm.
So we were missing that connection, right? That emotional fill. A lot of times back in the day, like we were just in the house, people were just there, parents working, coming
Mhm.
home, you know, you're just kind of on your own. So physically, there's a connection, but the emotional innate connection that we crave, that we need to fill us up and to fill our soul up, I find that that was lacking a lot.
Mm.
And when you're missing that connection, it's almost like unconsciously as a child, like you don't feel worthy of that love that you know that your soul knows that it's supposed to be receiving. So
Yeah.
then you go out, if you're not getting it internally from your internal environment, we go out and we look for it externally. We look for it from other men, other women, and a lot of times it's in unhealthy ways because the foundation of self-love wasn't built in a healthy way.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I find, you know, sometimes we're in unhealthy relationships or at jobs we don't like, or even friendships. And it's because we're not knowing that we're deserving of more.
Yes.
So I try to teach that and have people kind of dig within themselves to uncover where the root of that came from. Because I find that even awareness can bring healing.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
totally agree on that. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. And it's such a beautiful journey to really allow yourself that just allowing yourself to love yourself that much to even go on a journey to self-love.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really resonate with the woman who has looked for self-love outside of the self, right? For the
Mhm.
validation from others, especially in primary relationships. I really resonate with the woman who has, attracted toxic relationships to ultimately we grow, and that's the big, beautiful, bird's eye point of view. But being in those moments, it's like, you're just for myself, it was like the people pleaser role would come up a lot. And that for me, I thought that I had a healthy self-love expression. And then it really took me uncovering what those patterns were within
Yeah.
self. And I think that's the work that you do. You
Mhm.
know, this is so needed.
Yeah.
Everybody can fill up their cup even more.
Yeah.
And so do you like work with your clients one to one? Is it more like group settings? How are you?
I do more one-to-one.
Yeah.
I do like doing group coaching, but I find everyone's journey is so unique in what they need.
Yeah.
So working one-on-one and having that connection, so it's like 100% energy and focus
Hmm.
into that person. And I
Mm,
just wanted to touch on you mentioning that you've, met partners in the past too. It's like we meet people where we are.
yeah.
So we're usually meeting partners where they are too. They didn't receive the healthy love, or else they wouldn't be being the way they are, right?
So
So it's
true.
two people trying to get from each other what they don't have, so they don't know how to give. And we're fighting and we're battling it and we're forcing things, and we're left feeling empty and frustrated and disappointed. And then again, you turn within, and upon that journey, you stop tolerating any kind of, once you get to that place, which we're always moving towards it, but you get to this place where anything else but healthy, respectful, kind, beautiful, gentle love, it's not in our vibration anymore, not in our energy, and we repel it essentially.
Yes. And that is such a beautiful thing because it almost just becomes natural over time, right? When you align to that vibration of really what love is and having that self love within the self, like
Yeah,
you're really just reflecting only those types of
yeah,
relationships. And then
yeah,
if something comes through, or there's a trigger or there's a person who's maybe disrespected or been out of the line, it's like you can easily see it
yeah.
because
You
you've
can
like,
identify it now because you have a
yeah,
reference, right?
exactly. Yes.
Before it was normal because that's what
Right.
you're used to. So, oh, he's just whatever, she's just whatever. And now it's like, that's not my normal. I've created a new way of being.
Yes.
So I have a new level of the self-love, the boundaries, the acceptance, the tolerant, like what we'll tolerate. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a beautiful point to get to, but sometimes it takes somebody to help us to get us there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think having the support in this, you know, arena, if you will, where we're like really inviting in more of that self-love in our vessel is having the support and having somebody to walk you through it and be your guide and kind of see like that bird's eye view,
Yeah,
perspective of like,
yeah,
you can really help that person identify them. And I know that you do this so well in your work. I've seen it in your posting and everything too. And it's just, you have this unique, sacred work that
mm,
you can bring in the spiritual aspect to. And
yeah,
that even awakens people even
yeah,
more. And
yeah. You
it's,
can, yeah. I
yeah,
was gonna say you can see people like shift instantly. And it's
yeah.
kind of like if you're going on a journey and it's, you've never been that way before and you're just navigating through and you're in that maze essentially, right? Trying to find your way out. If
Right.
someone's already been through the maze and they know how to ease and gracefully move through it, that's the person that you become. And it's like we're walking with that person, right? I said to you last time, it's like when I think of my following, people call it, but it's, to me, it's a community, right?
Mhm.
If you think
Yeah.
of someone following you, everybody's behind you,
Yeah.
but we are all just walking together, just like that beautiful quote, we're all just walking each other home. And
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like we need to like find ourselves in the darkness in order to find our light. Like how else would we find it?
Yes, I totally see that. And
Mhm.
from the how you've served your clients and how you've had your own journey in this, um, discovering of the new levels of self-love, like I know you brought up boundaries before. How important is it to implement boundaries into your life to really start to see the difference in
Well, yeah,
relationship?
boundaries are definitely like on the top level of importance. The
Mm,
thing is, it's like we hear, I have to set boundaries. And a lot of times people have no idea how to set boundaries
mm,
because they have no idea what their boundaries are, right? They weren't taught their boundaries. There was no boundaries in the home. Maybe parents argued, walked in the kids' room, like, yeah, like there's a whole, if we don't know boundaries, how can we set them? So it's again, like going within and asking yourself, what feels acceptable for me? Like, what do I value? Do I value healthy relationships? I value love, I value kindness. So in order to discover your boundaries, you have to, you know, yep, it's inner work for sure. I
Mhm.
think that's a whole other topic too, of like how it's because we
Yeah.
can't just set boundaries. But once you are aware of your boundaries, then you can say, does this feel right for me right
Mhm.
now? And if it doesn't, then no. And it takes a while to get there. Like some people really push boundaries and they can really tap into that place of making you feel guilty for like
Mhm.
not accepting things.
Yes.
So yeah, so boundaries are for sure top. And then also like reflecting on your relationships. Like, how do I feel when I'm around this person? How does my energy feel? How does my body, my soul feel? And going through your different relationships and seeing how you actually energetically feel when in the presence of that person. And again, we just show up in these relationships without even, we can leave feeling drained, depleted, like however we're feeling, not filled up. I like to create relationships with people that when I walk away, I feel like we've given something to each other,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
that's a reciprocal relationship. And that
Mhm.
keeps, even the universe in karmic balance, like you give and you take. So it's balanced. But if you're always giving, eventually your tank becomes empty and there's just nothing there.
Right. And I love the visual that you've brought with that too, because it really, I think we can all really identify on what that feels like of having like the empty tank.
Yeah.
Like whatever circumstances, whether it's relationship, primary friendship, family member, I think all the listeners can really identify that. So with your advice, it's like you start to feel into that, like, and then you're like, okay,
What do I need to do for me?
yes.
Right.
And this is
So
where I need to set
yeah.
the boundaries.
Yes, absolutely. And then of course the self-care aspects fall into the self-love, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, do I need rest? Do I need to journal? Like, do I need time for myself? Like, as soon as we notice that we're running on empty, and I know it gets busy, like people have children and they have jobs and but even carving out like 20 minutes a day, because we know we can mindlessly scroll on our phone for an hour. So we can
Right.
give ourselves 20 minutes just to be still with ourselves and you're filling yourself up energy wise, right? You can just sit there, not even have to do necessarily anything except just be with yourself and feel into your body.
Yes, I'm
So,
hearing that really,
mm,
really putting that into the entrepreneurs' minds who are tuning
yeah.
in too, like giving yourself permission 20 minutes to just reset, recalibrate the energy, feel into, and giving that for self is so important. I mean, I know for me, like once I refill, I could go right into another beautiful piece of work. And I think bringing that even the self-love into even the conversation around career is so
Yeah.
important too.
Oh, yeah. And I think we're only as successful as our level of self-love for ourselves.
Mm.
How successful can we be if even my journal that we're going to talk about later, success is created from the inside, right?
Yeah.
Sure, we can create a successful business and have all this money coming in, but where is our energy and everything that we need to actually keep going? So eventually we become drained, right? So we can't even properly run our business because it's not coming from here. It has to come from here out. So when you again love yourself and you're doing all those things for yourself to make sure you're full,
Yes.
your business is merely a reflection of how full you've created yourself on the inside.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love that you said that. It's really a reflection. And
Yeah.
your business is literally just an extension of you. It's how you get
Yes.
to show up in the world and serve others. So it's essential really to have, that beautiful balance. Now, I have a question about when you're coaching and you or guiding rather, and your clients are kind of starting to create, okay, Vanessa, like I really want to lean into more self-love. Do you help them create space for that in their life? Like, are you like, is it important to kind of chunk out the day in a way and like implement self-love at certain times? Do you find that that works?
I find it's hard. Like I think we need to be flexible and graceful with ourselves because I'm a free flowing person. So I'm turning 47. I've only worked for somebody else like 2 years out of my life. Like I need that
Oh,
creative
yeah.
flow where I can just be, but still be productive. So I find like for myself, so I like to teach what I do for myself. So setting exact times, I feel like if we set something to do like yoga at 10 o'clock, but then I would miss doing it at 10 and then I'd feel bad about myself and think that I failed. So if
Yeah.
I just know by the end of the day, and I've written in my journal what I want to complete by the end of the day, regardless of the time, I find that works better for me. But
Ooh.
at a certain amount of time, I always said like a minimum of 20 minutes a day to do something for yourself.
I
So
really love that. And I love that you touched upon that guilt that could come up, because what, like, the opposite of self-love is that guilt, is that shame, right? It's like the opposite feeling of what we're really trying to
yes.
accomplish and really embody. So I
Mhm.
love that you shared that. And I'm a very much flowy person like you, other than having meetings at certain times or like
Yes.
how you had said. It really is about looking at that. By the end of the day, I'm going to have this X, Y, and Z accomplished, like your
Yeah.
self routine. Oh, I
Yeah.
think that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
Oh,
I I feel like, well, we're souls, right? So I believe we're limitless. So
yeah.
some things are good for discipline and structure, but you have to know yourself and your type of energy to know what works best for you, which and still works to
Mhm.
create what you're trying to create.
Yes, definitely. I know for sure there are people who really enjoy the structure a bit more until they're
Yeah,
really starting to, like you
yeah,
were saying, like, know, that, okay, I can trust myself, that I will,
mhm,
have this self-love
yeah.
implementation by the end of the day.
You
That's
have to
so,
do what works for you. So if my clients like the structure and time, then I encourage them to do that because
yeah.
then I'm not going to try to get them to how I am because
Mhm.
then that they're trying to change. So, but I just allow for that flexibility so they're aware of what works best for them too. Yeah.
Definitely.
Mhm.
And can you share with us what, when it comes to implementing self-love, when it comes to career, say we have somebody who's really tuning in, they're kind of just like, just ready for a change, or just, and this is the season we're upon right now too, right? Things are shifting and changing. We're finding more passion within us. We're finding a different direction of certain aspects of our life. For the person who's leaning into something like that,
Mhm.
and might be, kind of, let's say, on the fence about switching careers or doing or leaving a job and starting something for themselves. What's like a key component that they could help bring in so they can kind of love themselves through the process, if you will?
Yeah. And that's a good question because sometimes people are in the midst of there's things people want to do and create business wise, but maybe they're still at another job and
Yeah.
they're dreading going to that job. And I
Mm,
always share with clients, it's like reminding yourself that it's temporary and that every little piece of what we're doing each day is leading and guiding us to where we want to be.
mhm,
So every moment gives and every experience and where we are is giving us an opportunity to grow and to learn, and it's giving us what we need so we can get to where we want to go. Like I know we can lack patience, right? We want to get there. And I always say there is here. There's no there. It's only here. But
mm,
this is where all the magic is.
yes,
And to visualize it like this, if you were to be 4 months pregnant and you're like, I want to have the baby now, like, too bad, I want to have the baby now.
mm,
That's not going to be good.
mm,
Delivering a 4 month, you're pregnant 4 months, that's not going to be good. So as soon as people, oh, I need to like let this come to maturity exactly when it's ready and enjoy what's in between,
mm.
that helps you get to there. Um, and I'm just trying to reflect on the other component that you asked about.
Yeah. So, and I guess just like allowing more self-love, like,
Yeah.
so maybe they're feeling like the guilt or the
Yeah.
fear coming through about switching, or about, um like how could they love themselves even more throughout like the transition? Like, I
Yeah.
love that you brought up the acceptance of time and the patience, and just like working on something like day to day, and knowing
Okay.
that it's, something will be coming.
Yeah. Definitely trusting the universe, trusting the process, reminding yourself this is where the magic is, even though it might not feel like it at the time. But
Yeah.
also like paying attention to your thoughts. I like to ask myself if I'm having a negative thought, because sometimes when we're doing something big and different and uncomfortable, those those limited beliefs come up. So I always say to myself, is this thought helping me or is it hurting me? It's this
Mm,
most simple question. Oh, it's hurting me. So this isn't contributing to my growth. This isn't going to help the mindset to get me to where I want to go. So
yes.
what thought can I shift right now so it serves me best?
Yes.
It's all those little tweaks that we can do to bring us back into full consciousness and awareness, because that's the unconscious mind trying to make us doubt ourselves, or, oh, if we're not there now, we're never going to get there.
Yeah.
So being present now is,
Mm.
and challenging those thoughts and not believing them. They're okay to be there, but we don't have to believe them.
Right, exactly. And, I know like science says we have 60,000 thoughts a day. I mean, and even to like with how I share with my clients, it's like, some people are like, how do I know like what I'm thinking? It's like, how are you feeling in the moment? And then you can really identify, am I on this side of the spectrum that feels good, that these thoughts are serving me? Or am I on the other side where I'm like, okay, this isn't serving my greatest good for right now in the moment and
Yeah.
for creating in the future. I
Yeah.
think these little subtle shifts are
Yeah.
just so important for
Yeah.
this, for right now and for future things that we are creating. We really can lean in to, okay, this doesn't mean that this is true right now. Like,
Yeah.
let's come back to the present
Mhm.
space, bring in some thoughts that are actually going to help us. And
Yeah.
that's a really strong form of self-love,
Yeah.
right?
And it's the compound effect, right? All of those little thoughts become, the effect at the end. But it's also too is something I share with my clients. It's like we can either be the master of our mind or let our mind be our master. So we can be controlled by our thoughts and have a thought, and then suddenly we feel it in our body, and then we're not doing what we want to do because these thoughts, or we can be in control of them. And
Mhm.
that's when we are asking, is it the thought helpful or hurtful? And we can say, no, thank you. And we can shift it. It's just like the train going down the track. Suddenly it's going in the wrong direction. What would the train conductor do? He would move it so it's going in the actual right direction. So you
Yeah.
are the conductor in your brain who
Yes.
is the directs your thoughts to where you want them to go.
Oh, this is literally so gold. I'm loving, loving all these tips. Thank you so, so
Lovely.
much. I know that they're really going to help serve. And even like these powerful questions can really,
Yeah.
get us into that self-love spirit and that energy. I'm wondering how, if you wouldn't mind sharing, how did you come across the gorgeous understanding and work around self-love that you're now sharing with others?
I think it was being close to someone who was going through something at the time that they needed help, but they were projecting a lot onto me.
Mm,
And it was reminding me of a past relationship that was not healthy at all.
mhm,
And all of these old wounds started coming up that I thought I had healed.
mm,
And then I realized that essentially those kind of relationships teach us to love ourselves. It may not seem like they do, but that's actually what they're meant to do, right? We
yeah.
attract those relationships. Usually, if there's unfinished karma or unfinished relationships that we haven't healed, we keep attracting those kind into our existence and consciousness. And the reason sometimes we do that is because we're trying to heal the love that we didn't get from a person in the past. So we
Mm,
keep bringing them in to try to heal it. But then we realize again, it's the what's missing again is the love for ourselves. So being in that close relationship with that person, and it reminded me of that. I'm like, no, I can't. What am I tolerating right now? This, and then that's what actually, and to like pinpoint the moment, because it's a long experience, but that kind of led me to realize that that's what I was missing. I was tolerating anything
mm,
because
mhm.
I just didn't have the love for myself. And I thought I'm not worthy of anything more than what this is. But something just shifted in me to make me realize that no, I need to love myself because I've abandoned myself for this person. And
Mhm,
now I'm feeling depressed. I'm anxious. I'm not doing my business
mhm.
because I took all of my love whatever was left and was trying to give it to this person to help them, but they needed to help their own self. So I had to kind of gather it back and give that love I was trying to give to myself.
Mm,
So yeah, that was a whole process and journey, but
yeah.
everything's good now with that person. So
Amazing.
lots of boundaries needed to be clarified, but yeah, that kind of led me there. So now I kind of help other people. And I find it interesting because a lot of times you go through something and then you start attracting the same kind of clients
Right.
who have been through something. So you end up helping them with that.
Yeah, I do find that in my work as well. It's like we've gone through the situation, right? Or whatever it is, how we're serving. Like we've gone through the recreation or the
Yeah.
redesign of what that is. And then our clients, we're able to show them the ropes because
Yeah.
we've been exactly where they are.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. I
Mhm.
so appreciate you being so willing and vulnerable and to share. And I'm sure everyone who's tuning in, it can just like even sense in my energy too, just like how calming and your energy is and how you are so able to share in that present moment. Like on other episodes, I'm like, sometimes like you could see like my excitement's really high and all these things, but what I really feel with you is I feel like I'm in my body. And I don't know about you, but there's definitely times throughout my day where I'm getting so excited about something coming or a project I'm working on or, finishing up with a client or whatever. And I sometimes get out of my body and then I'm like, oh my goodness, like my body's trying to like pull me back in,
Yeah.
right? To show me, okay, maybe this isn't aligned or ideal for right now. Or like, oh, maybe, it's just like
Yeah.
trying to show us that. And
Yeah.
that's one thing I've been super mindful of this year, especially is like, how am I feeling in my body? Like being around this person, how am I feeling? Working on this project, how am I
Yeah.
feeling? And
Yeah.
letting my body reveal that to me. Even as a little girl that I've had that ability to sense really clearly, and my body was my go-to messenger, right? And then in
Absolutely.
adulthood, I had those patterns come through, like I was mentioning earlier on the episode. And then it was always like an out of body experience. And then it's like, okay, now being back in my body, I'm like, my body is literally communicating
Yes.
everything. And
All
how
our,
you know about your body, it is in the present.
yeah. And we can know when we've left our body too, because suddenly it's been like 7 hours and we haven't ate. We haven't took any rest.
Yeah.
And then we feel, I don't know, if I'm in the computer on the computer for too long, I can feel like my body feels like it's buzzing. I actually can feel physically sick from it.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. I
So
feel that in my eyes for sure, but
yeah.
I haven't really felt the buzzing, but I know that that's also a part of your work too, is energy healing and
Yeah.
energy work. Would you mind to tap in on that? And then we can share about your
Yeah.
amazing book.
Yeah. So I do energy healing, so Reiki, and I
Mm.
opened my business 2014.
Oh,
So, and that was just from, I discovered it from, I was massaging my partner and he's like, oh, you always know where my pain is. Like you go right to where my pain is. And I said, oh, I just feel warmth there. And I said, I wonder what that is. So I had no idea what Reiki was then. And then I shared on my Facebook, I'm like, I know this sounds weird, but I feel like I can do healing or help healing with my hands. And then someone was like, that's Reiki. But the interesting thing was at that point in time was when I was just doing the photography, but I felt like, and I was going through health issues then, I felt like I was meant to be of service to others, but I didn't know in what capacity or what that looked like. So I
mm,
had that inner knowing, but the not knowing, which
yeah.
can make you feel ungrounded and just disconnected because you're like, I know this. So that's what led me to Reiki healing. And I always share that with clients because a lot of times, or anyone, a lot of times we're trying to figure out what we're supposed to be doing. Like, what is it? You're trying to figure it out. All of those trying thoughts literally block out what actually needs to come in. So when we just surrender, and it could just be like some random stranger says something to us and something clicks, like that happened to me, and then you're on the journey to that.
Yeah.
So that's an important thing too, is we don't have to know exactly what we're going to be doing, but just always remaining open.
Mm,
You
mm.
have no, like, you have no idea. And that was, so yeah, 2014. And
Oh
I
my.
just love, helping people clear their energy and leaving or coming downstairs after treatment and being like, hey, what the heck just happened? Because they're,
Yes.
yeah, they didn't expect like to actually physically feel. They thought that maybe they were just going to feel relaxed and stuff, but
Mhm.
profound experiences people can have. So
It
yeah.
sure, yeah, it sure is true. That's was one of my first experiences with Reiki when I was like 16 years old. I left, my mom had brought me and I left and I just said, Mom, I didn't even know I had questions, but I feel like they're all answered. Like
Wow.
it just is that
Yeah.
really profound
Clarity.
feeling within. I remember the exact moment, like exactly where I was and everything, talking with my mom. And, I love that you brought that up too, is being in the allowing space, surrendering to what the next move is meant to be without feeling like you must plan the whole thing through. And I wanted to share, um, that's actually what came through for me in 2020 is right now what I do in my business is I
Yeah.
certify coaches
Yeah.
to help them start their own coaching business and market their practice and create an offer that is just speaks to their soul aligned clients.
Yeah.
And if you asked me 10 years ago if I would have a coaching academy, I would have been like, gosh, no, like that's so a different, something so different for me.
Yeah.
But I think because I was just so willing to receive what that next move was and
Yeah.
surrendering into the process of, okay, universe, these are my desires, these are my gifts, my genius zone, show me the way. And then it comes and it connects and you feel it and you just know you're in the right place.
And then people feel it from you. So when I see you share or when I see you talk about it, you feel it. I hear you, but I feel it. And that's the difference, right?
Yeah,
If we're doing something that we don't love or enjoy, we're just doing it for whatever reason,
yeah,
it's not authentic, right? People
right.
can unconsciously feel that energy. Even you're posting about a business that you're not really aligned with in your heart. And they're like, oh, I don't know why people are interested. It's the underlying energy.
Mm.
It's not lined up with what you actually want to be doing in your authenticity that people can feel without even knowing.
Right, without even knowing. It's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. We could have a like next
I know.
season, Vanessa, please come back because
I'd love to.
we
Thank
could
you.
have a whole conversation about energy and
Yeah.
everything. So before we close our episode today, I would love for you to please share your new,
Yeah.
beautiful, I got a sneak peek of it,
I
everyone,
know.
this gorgeous book journal that Vanessa put out. Would you share with us about this?
So I just wanted to say I love journaling and I like to have lots of journals. But what I was doing, I love writing my affirmations, my goals, but I always had like 10 journals on the go and they're all in different journals. And my brain that likes to feel organized felt completely chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
So I created a journal that has all the things I like to do in it. So
Oh
it's called
my,
my Entrepreneur Journal. It's a
so
daily practice for achieving success and abundance. And everything's by design. So the color, the pineapple, like as I shared with you before, there's
amazing.
reasons for all that. So in it, we have our energy level, what I'm grateful for, my empowering affirmations, 3 goals for the day, your intention for the day, 3 things you'll do for self-care, and then evening reflection.
So
And
good.
then I don't know about you, but I love checking things off. So I did a little
Yes,
checklist.
definitely. I like checking things off too.
Oh, it feels so, I actually love it because it makes me want to work towards the goals that I put. I
Yeah.
only put 3 goals, people to pick their main goals, because I also used to put like 10 goals and I'd finish 3 of them and be like, oh, again, I failed. I can't even finish. So I'm like,
Right.
no, what's my, what's my top goals for the day?
I love that.
And then this is a list of, it's a 30-day or 90-day journal. So I've already pre-written 90 affirmations. So you get to use your intuition, turn to
Yeah.
the page, pick your affirmation, check it off, and then write it in your little affirmation.
Oh my gosh. This
Yes.
is literally a book journal that is literally transformational and taking inspired action.
Yes,
So where
absolutely.
can we find it?
So it is on Amazon.
Perfect.
I think almost all the Amazon sites. So you can look up either my entrepreneur journal, my name, but I guess I'll send you a link too. Maybe you can put it in
Yeah,
that, make it
I'll
easier for
share the
people.
link. Definitely. I'll share the link in the video
Yeah.
episode.
Okay,
Oh
perfect.
my gosh. And it's Amazon worldwide, right? Because we have listeners everywhere.
Yeah. I
Mm.
know like it had a list of like 10 different sites it's available. So I'm sure
Okay.
hopefully it'll be available in most, but I find like since writing in this is the first time I've consistently written in a journal for like a couple months, where before it wouldn't be consistent. And I love the evening self-reflection. So you can just reflect on like how the day went and where you feel like you could have done better or where you did great.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
excited
gosh.
to share
I
this.
am so excited you've brought this to the world. We will definitely be finding it. I know I will. And I'm giving them as gifts for Christmas too, by the way.
Lovely. Love it.
So I just absolutely love this journal. I cannot wait to get it into my own hands. You know that I'm a huge fan since you've told me about it. And I am already thinking about the people that I can send this to for Christmas gifts too. Like all of my clients are getting them. So if you're watching, you're welcome. All of the my aunts I know will just totally really dive into it. I think it's what I love about your journal is that you have those questions, you have those affirmations already there.
Yeah.
And just from having like just a glimpse of it, like from over the internet, it's really going to be such a good, helpful tool. And I'm like you too, like I'll have a bunch of different notebooks
Yeah.
and this one's or
Yeah.
this, or I know it, they're all combined into one. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But that I'm just so excited for it. And I'm so excited for you, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Witness what you do in your community and how you inspire people and really how you connect with them so deeply.
Thank
And
you.
you can see why. I know I can see why you're so grounded and present, and you're just such a beautiful soul. And like
Thank you.
yourself, how you said earlier that you had this connection when you and I met of that
Yeah.
sense of hominess. I feel that with you. And we're soul sisters, you
I
know?
know.
Yeah.
Just feels it's real, right? I always say people love being around people who are real.
Yeah.
Like that energy just makes people feel safe. Um, I just wanted to say too, I called the journals actually simple journals, um, because I wanted simplicity. I believe in simplicity.
Yeah.
But that's just my first journal. So I have my empath journal. I have my anxiety journal. I have one called my self-love journal, which again, so it's 90 self-love affirmations, but it's also a question a day for 90 days. So it's discovering your beauty and your worth and your value by answering that daily question so you don't overwhelm yourself, but diving into yourself through that one question. And by the end of it, you've created like your whole book for yourself of you and your journey.
Yes.
So
Oh my gosh.
that's just one of them. Yeah.
That is so cool. So I didn't even think about it like that, but it's like this 90-day journey and you have that for that point of your life. Like you
Yeah.
can look back on it, you can share it with your loved ones or your client. That is cool. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
And now if anyone wants to connect with you and learn about the other books that you have out there, I know that I've been really loving on the one that you've just shared.
Yeah.
But if anyone else wants to find you and your other divine work, where can they connect with you?
So on my Amazon, you will see under my name, Vanessa Marie Dewsbury, you'll see my other two books that I put out. And then again, this one's the first, so there's more that will be out. So that's on Amazon. And then I have my new website, Simple Journals.Ca, which I love that I was able to get that domain
Cool,
name, Simple Journals.Ca.
girl. Yes.
And then I also have a YouTube channel full of meditations. One's for empaths, again, self-love meditations, and Facebook under my name. I think what I'll do, because a couple different names, I'll send you maybe a link just to make it
Yeah.
easier for people where they can just connect with me. I love connecting with people and just chatting and talking. So I'm
Yeah.
open to whoever wants to reach out as well.
Oh, that's amazing. I will include all of the links on the video episode. So if anyone's tuning in to the audio episodes, like on Spotify or Apple, just head over to our Facebook group, which is Namaste, the podcast. Namaste with Renee is the only one there. So I'll also include all of the links in our Facebook group. So then that's
Lovely.
easier for
Thank you.
everybody to
Yeah.
receive. Yeah, absolutely. Vanessa, I can't thank you enough for sharing these gorgeous time with me and for radiating your love and your light. I know for sure I'm walking away from this conversation today just feeling so grounded and so
Oh,
present. And I'm just so happy for you for this new
thank
book
you.
to come out. So much success coming your way, even more. And I look forward to seeing you again in Namaste with Renee in the next season.
Thank you for having me. I was gonna say my soul feels full, so now I'm
Oh,
energized to go to
yeah.
the gym and do whatever else I'm gonna do. So thank
Yeah.
you as well, and for all the work and light that you give to others. So I'm blessed.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you for seeing me, and I appreciate you, and I see you.
Thank you.
So, the light in me honors the light within each and every single one of you. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you in another episode of Namaste with Renee.